Uh, many countries talk about their communist and dictatorship and everything, but this is what I went through in USA for 18 years. I'm practically innocent. I did not issue a green card, but legally, I'm practically innocent. I didn't issue a green card, just like what rumor is in air. I never threatened anyone. 2008, my kid's father handed out my information. Mexican police opened the case, opened it up, investigated. We didn't issue a green card. But Mexican police handed out my information to white police officer to screw my University of Toronto. So they pulled me out while I was sitting in classroom and then put me in the mental hospital and let doctor to feed the mental medication, and my body was shaking and I was trembling. This is a torture. And I couldn't just stand on it. I don't know what they were planning to do, but will they, just like Epstein, will they want to kill me? That I don't know. So I could not, tolerate that medication. I planned on breaking the window and ran. And finally, my mother and brother came to University of Toronto and, take me to the California. This is how California, Mexican and white police let Toronto, Ohio police to play. Police play just like Epstein. And then Mexican American police create the rumor I threatened my ex. That's how I failed my University of Toronto. Because due to not having evidence of threat, there was no criminal record on my, criminal record. And due to spreading the rumor back of my life, nothing worked. And I left to, US to South Korea in 2012. Through the ads, hiring ad, I met the Mr. Chang and US tour, and then South Korea member, Mr. Chang and Chinese Korean asked what happened to her. And then US, street member and police say that where she threatened. So that's how she failed, her University of Toronto. Since I was living in South Korea, nothing could verify it. And I decided, because my mother has passed away due to the laser shooting, as far as I know. Now I sense. So police was playing the laser already. 2015, I visited my mother's, condo. During sleep, I was copying because there is a laser they shoot and it makes you cop. So I was copying, and now I know that because in Anchorage now, on shelter, a white woman who was sleeping below my bunk bed was continually copying during night. And I also saw my elder lady who I took care. She was copying. What's wrong? And then, I also experienced. So once they shoot the laser, they makes you cop. And that I was experiencing in my mother's condo in 2015 February. My mother passed away, May 2015. I know, yeah. So now I know, and then hacker, Chinese Korean, continually, and then also the Mexican, I believe, and Indian, and Mohammed. And they continually uploading a video that, you will have a cancer and da. Yes, my mother passed away due to the shooting the laser. And they are hiding it. And then that's not enough. And once I returned to USA 2017, this white police, because they did wrong through the, while I was in the University of Toronto, attending University of Toronto, and they want me to return it. They want to ruin my life. And that's what the Mexican and white police officer was saying, that they want to ruin my life and send me back. So 2017, I walk into the Grand Rapids police station. They handcuff me, they put me in the mental hospital and lie on the paper. And yeah, and then 2018, once I got accepted to LBM program, and Mexican police and white police led Christy Mayer, Lassen College nursing director, to remove for no reason while they played narcotic in the classroom. 29 students saw, and then police, probably the Mexican and also the white Mexican side more, Mexican told Lassen College not to accept my return, eternally. Because it was a Mexican who played very vigorously, spreading the rumor, the one that he created. I threatened my ex. That's how fair University of Toronto. They don't want me to become a healthcare professional, because once you want to become a health professional, we do the fingerprint, and there is all kinds of things that we have to go through. Okay, just being a pharmacy tech or nurse, that tells that you don't have any major criminal record. So this, Mexican American police were targeting not for me to become a nurse. Okay, so I reissued the pharmacy tech license, and I was working in Susan Beer, and they do all kinds of and pull me out and give the suspension. It's just amazing that how they work. And then not only that, as being police, they try to get my house, because once I start to once Mexican and white police in California remove me from the Lassen College, I bought a house, very like a shed, and then shed like a house, cheap, and then I settled in Susanville, California, and fight toward the California police system and Lassen College. And doing this, Mexican police brought Mr. Chang into the U.S. society, let him do the crimes in U.S. society, also take care of my case. That has been 9 years. I said, and then during 9 years, I said, Walter, let me finish the nursing, okay? Then I will go back to South Korea and live the way I want. But Mexican police line and Mr. Chang drag purposely, because most of the work is done by the white. So by using my case, they wanted to drag. So they did. And during last 9 years, they abused me, harassed me, and spread the lie. And even, in Anchorage, last 19 months, I find out that they were shooting the laser, They set it up, Hells Angel, right next to it. And they were due to the breaking in, they break more than 100 times and destroy my minivan and breaking in, scratch the floor by the, blazer. And Anchorage Police Department was not taken care of purposely. Okay, so I did the strike in front of Anchorage Police Department, and then one of the top was coming out and getting into it, because I called the news broadcasting company that I will do the strike, and I told him, you set it up, your police member set it up, Hells Angel in front and back, and he said yes, they set it up before I arrived Anchorage, so that just like how Mexican and Mexican police member thought, well, she's gonna come to the Susan Beer, but she will be removed and she will go back to Los Angeles. Anchorage is same thing. While they lose not even penny of fine is lost. Well, she's gonna come to Anchorage, and then she will be harassed by the Anchorage Police Department member, and also their street people, and then she will leave the Anchorage. This is what they were planning. By doing the crime, I'm a U.S. citizen. I live in U.S. 42 years, okay? I didn't do the crime, so they legally cannot do anything. So it's not me who's doing the crime, it's the police side who's doing the crime, okay, on me, while Mr. Chang take care of my case. Last 9 years, everybody was saying that Mr. Chang. I said, well, I know him for 3 months while I live in South Korea for 5 years. What happened to it? Now I know that Mexican police, since I find out who did University of Toronto was a police, and then also the Lassen College issue, I was fighting. So Mexican police brought Mr. Chang and take care of my case, whether she died her own or, you killed him. You know that how Mr. Chang was doing all this kind of crime all over the world, including USA. And then last 19 years, soon as I bought the house in Anchorage, they start to shoot the laser. And then in rumor, who's shooting it is a white. I think, hacker continually upload the last and college, last and community, last and something. So I believe it's like, last and college step cover, front work about the education issue, in my, for my life. They order, through their network to shoot the laser and not to take care by the Anchorage Police Department. And then they put the white member in Hells Angel and let them shoot the laser during night by teaching how to do it. So in rumor, who's doing it is all white. But I noticed that not only white, there was also Mexican and also Indian. Indian is the one that who's taken care. I experienced all sort of laser last 19 months. My health got really become bad. Okay, it's just that I cannot become calm. Okay, I just have a different mood, and then it was Mr. Chang and Mexican who continually create the event not for me to attend the school, because Mexican side, because he create the word, he doesn't want me to attend the school, and so did Mr. Chang. White side, I don't think so. They just want me to, they don't want any issue. I don't know about the police side, but in people in general. So they continually create the crime event for me to squeeze my finance to get my house, to go after my house, just like, police were going after my Susanville house in Susanville, California. Anchorage was the same thing. Police spread the rumor, let Muhammad go after my house, let, Indian to go after my house. So they were all cooperating to go squeeze my finance and Russian too. This is all about, getting away. Just few members in U.S. police sphere. And this is how, now I'm going back to South Korea. I mean, I have to leave this state, Anchorage, urgently. And, Mexican was telling me that, are you going back to, California? Look how they did it for 9 years. I was fighting 9 years. How they behave. They were blocking my school completely by exercising Mexican police power, and along with the Latin college staff, power in education affair, and they were blocking it completely in order to make life to become true. And Anchorage Police Department, they continually wrap it up. Oh, mentally you are something wrong. I'm mentally fine, because they did it. Their police line member did it as being white. They want to cover it up continually and saying the lie. Now whole world knows they create the misconduct, and white people is continually avoiding in order to investigate it, in order to take their responsibility. And because they are doing it, they are insisting not to do any, but just move on by ignoring it. This situation, Mexican and other minority is, utilizing it in order to get, in order to target the white. So whether it is now, it seems like they have a two choice, whether they investigate it by their own and take a responsibility of what they haven't done, or to be respectful by others, since they took care what was wrong in white community. And others, they continue to ignore and avoid it, what they haven't done, but continue to ramp me up, with the lie and manipulation. Then, all right now, my case is all around the world. The white people, their image will go down, their fairness, justice, and their truthfulness will lose. So I don't know now. I don't know how things will go in the future. But this is the truth, okay? And, I have to leave this, fucking Anchorage, because they were shooting the laser. They create all sort of lasers. Shoot, you block the nose. Shoot, you feel pain in abdomen. Shoot, you decrease memory. Shoot, you get headache. You get dizziness. And they shoot the laser. I heard that one of the, private investigator shooting the laser messed up the organ. Yes. It seems like they professionally create all this, laser, okay? And that is taken care by the Indian. People say, it seems like it's not just, private. It would, I think it's more likely supported by the one country to develop all this kind of laser. I mean, it was just professional. Sometimes my hand gets swollen. Sometimes you have a force to suit. They have like more than 50 type of laser in order to create these kind of laser. Some kind of government has been involved along with those certain country, and they develop together in order to target people in the world. I don't know, US or that, I don't know. But I have the Facebook. LCC, last name community college abbreviation, LCC, Joan, J-O-A-N. I have a Facebook under my name in Chuan Pak, CHUWNPAK. My last name is a P-A-K. And then I also have the YouTube channel, Joan, J-O-A-N-H-P. So you could take a look. It's amazing things that what I'm going through. And somehow, financially, I was very careful because they were squeezing my finance in order to ruin and go after my house. God has been helping me a lot, and I also worked hard in order to hang on my finance. And somehow through my dad's inheritance, I was able to buy very poor and small house. But it's just that the way they did it, the way they have been done to my life as being police and government system and public school, it's just too much what they did.